Sometimes you have to forget political parties, you have to forget who you support, and you have to ask yourself real questions. What really transpired in the meeting between the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and the US advisor on all security matters, Mr. Keane? You see, the newspapers did all of the flurry. They showed us videos of convoys heading to diplomatic center. They showed us planes landing and taking off. But do the newspapers really dig in for what really took place at diplomatic center? What was really discussed, really? We heard about narco. We heard about drug boats. A lot of nonsense that's being peddled by the US media. But what was it that was promised? What would Trinidad's role really be in all of this mess towards Venezuela? We didn't hear anything. Is Trinidad will be well covered in the impending war? Nobody's saying anything. And this is why when you ask questions, people get offended. And you see the Trinidad government talking about trying to like social media issues where you can, you know, lock up people for certain things. I mean, when governments start being afraid of the people should really be happy. Yeah, because it's always the other way around. People are afraid of the government, but when the government becomes afraid of the people, that is when you know that you are making a serious stronghold and a footing on the nonsense that is being done. Why do I say this? I looked at a social media post by P.S. Robinson where he says, "What is being built at the eastern end of Crown Point runway?" And it's a question. Why is there wrong the clock construction taking place at the eastern end of the Crown Point runway? We know recently in Puerto Rico that wrong the clock work was taking place at the Roosevelt Old Airport, the one in St. Croix. So what is being built at Crown Point? And he says separately, what is the nature of the U.S. Air Force aircraft departing from ANR operating in Tobago airspace early this morning? And he has a right to ask those questions. What is the U.S. military doing in Trinidad and Tobago's airspace? What are they doing there? No allegations, he says, no conclusions drawn, and he is correct. Just two straightforward public interest questions seeking clarifications. And I'm thinking that none of these questions will be answered by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. The people of Trinidad and Tobago are living in a precarious situation. Let us hope for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago's sake that nothing ever really pops off in Venezuela and Trump and Maduro can have a discussion of sorts and see what can be done. Because if anything ever pops off, there will be all hell to pay. I think by now we know that. Trinidad, of course, will be at the center of this. So I was looking to hear after the meeting yesterday that Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisese would have told Kane or would have made it public that so many guns are coming into the region from the United States of America. What are we doing to curb this problem? I was hoping that that would have been in the media. Clearly, I didn't see that. I didn't hear about that. I saw people eating doubles and photos being taken out. I saw Kane signed in book at diplomatic center and all these niceties being reported by the media. And when you ask questions, you're now being seen as a threat to a government. Well, I am very happy to say that when the government start fearing the people, that is the best sort of democracy one could ever have and ever hope to have. Meanwhile, I say to you that democracy is really a way of us choosing our own dictators. And that is why, after campaigns and they get into office, they behave the way they behave. Because that is what democracy was designed to do. It's not what you think it is. But I'm really disappointed that I didn't hear anything about those small arms coming into the Caribbean that's killing so many of our young people. I didn't hear anything about that. I didn't hear anything about what position Trinidad would be in per a war with Venezuela and the United States. But Trump says he's ready to have a discussion with Maduro. We'll hear about that in another video. Take care, guys. Take it easy.